Hello, this is Preacher Timothy. I'd like to invite everybody to join our online Bible study or in person. You can join us for the Bible study. Please enjoy the show.
I don't want to hear nothing more about women's problems. You don't hear men complaining about their problems, do you?
That's because men don't have any problems compared to women.
And that's God's will, so forget it.
You mean God's mistake?
Hey, God don't make no mistakes. That's how he got to be God. Don't be blaming nothing on God that you women brung on yourself.
What?
Yes, that's right. You don't believe me? Read your Bible. Read your story of Adam and Eve there. You know, Adam and Eve, they had it pretty soft out in paradise. They had no problems. They didn't even know they was naked. But Eve, she wasn't satisfied with that, see? And then one day, against direct orders, she made poor Adam eat that apple. God got sore. He told him, "Get your clothes on and get the hell out of here."
On the first day of Christmas, my true love sent to me a partridge in a pear tree. On the second day of Christmas, my true love sent to me a partridge in a pear tree. On the third day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. On the fourth day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 4 collie birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. On the fifth day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 5 gold rings, 4 collie birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. On the sixth day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 6 geese a laying, 5 gold rings, 4 collie birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. On the seventh day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 7 swans a swimming, 6 geese a laying, 5 gold rings, 4 collie birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. On the 8th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 8 maids a milking, 7 swans a swimming, 6 geese a laying,
The holiday seasons are upon us once again, and nothing brings us closer together in Eastern North Carolina like a home-cooked meal. However, there are many hazards that go along with cooking in the home. I'm Lieutenant Brandon Smith with the Red Oak Fire Department. Today I'm going to talk to you about holiday cooking safety. Regardless of where you do your cooking this holiday season, every home needs to have one of these. Without a proper working fire extinguisher, even the smallest fires can turn into major disasters. The typical fire extinguisher you need to have in your house would be a dry chemical ABC fire extinguisher. These fire extinguishers are made for any type of wood, paper, or electrical type fires that may occur in your house. When using a fire extinguisher, it's very simple. Just follow this acronym: PASS. Pull, aim, squeeze, sweep. You first pull the pin, aim the nozzle, squeeze the trigger, and move the fire extinguisher in a sweeping motion. Your fire extinguisher should be kept in a centralized location that everyone should be made aware of. Usually under the sink in the kitchen is a great place. During the holidays, there are three main areas that home cooking takes place. You have the stovetop, the oven, and outdoor grills and fryers. Each one poses unique fire hazards, and we want to discuss them today. Let's start with the stovetop. The vast majority of your holiday cooking takes place in the kitchen, specifically on your stovetop. Now, the stovetop is very safe and very convenient, but it does pose some fire hazards. Any recipes, cooking boxes, or any paper products need to be kept clear from the stovetop. If any one of these items touches the stove, it could catch on fire immediately. The second thing you want to remember is to keep your burners clear of grease and dried up food. Anytime these items cake up, they can pose a fire hazard. Lastly, you want to avoid overspill. The best way to avoid overspill is to monitor your cooking at all times. Try not to leave the kitchen. If there is overspill, turn the heat down and clean it up immediately. The built-up food can pose a fire hazard. Despite our best efforts to cook safely during the holidays, accidents do happen. And in the case of a small fire, here's some tips we can give you to help put it out. In case of a stovetop fire, the first thing you want to do is remove the heat source by cutting your burner off. If the fire is contained to the pot that you're cooking in, simply place a lid on it. This will help extinguish the fire by suffocating it. If the fire has spread outside of your cooking pot and onto your cooking surface, the best thing to use is a fire extinguisher. If for some reason you don't have a fire extinguisher, self-rising flour spread over the flame can help extinguish it. Never under any circumstances pour water on a grease fire. This will only spread the fire and make it worse than it already is. Ovens are typically a pretty safe way to cook. But much like stovetops, if not cleaned and regularly maintained, they can pose safety hazards of their own. Before turning your oven on, make sure you check inside to see if anything flammable may have been left in there. Just because you didn't leave anything flammable inside the oven doesn't mean somebody else couldn't have. Regularly clean your oven. Over time, built-up food and grease can pose a serious fire hazard. To prevent burns, it's important to use oven mitts or rags to remove pots and pans from the oven, even if the oven's been off for a while. If you experience a fire in your oven and you do not have a fire extinguisher handy, close the oven door, turn the oven off, get everyone out of the house, and call 911. A more recent holiday tradition involves cooking outdoors using deep fryers. Now, deep fryers make for some tasty treats, but they pose some serious fire risk of their own. Safety with deep fryers starts before the cooking ever begins. Make sure that your cooking setup is outdoors, on level ground, and away from any structures. When pouring your oil into your pot, you want to do this before you have ignited your burners. Pouring the oil in a slow, steady manner will help prevent splashing. When lighting your burner, be sure to use an elongated lighter and stand away from the burner. You never know when gas may have built up and create a flash. A newer, safer method involves using an infrared fryer. Infrared fryers do not use oil, which can help prevent burns. When using your deep fryer, never overfill with oil. Keep in mind the food you're going to be cooking is going to take up space in the pot. Be sure to use oven mitts or rags when handling your deep fryer pot. The handles may not look warm, but they can burn you. Try to keep your grease between 350 and 400 degrees. Check your temperature often. Never place frozen, or overly wet foods into boiling grease. Always use dry, thawed food and place it in slowly to avoid splashing. As demonstrated here, not following this rule can be potentially disastrous. And in the event of a fire, the first thing you want to do is remove the heat source by cutting your burner off. Covering the pot with the lid removes the oxygen and will put the fire out. It's important this holiday season that you do not cook using methods or techniques outside of your ability. Always keep emergency contact information handy, just in case. With a little thought and preparation, you can have a happy holiday. And no matter what your cooking method is this season, always make safety the #1 ingredient.